Have you ever had the experience where you're standing outside and you see a beautiful sunset and you think, I want to take a picture to capture this sunset? Usually one of three things will happen to you when your camera sees that and takes the picture. Sometimes it's going to look like this, where you've got great detail in the foreground of the picture that you take, and the sky is, it's okay. It's not as amazing as you remember it. Or you can have it like this, where it's just completely overexposed and nothing looks right in it. Or like this, where the sky looks amazing, but the foreground is very dark. What I'm going to show you to do right now is to actually make your image look more realistic and more lifelike, just like your eye sees. First thing you need to do is take 3 different exposures. Most cameras have an HDR feature on them or a bracketing feature, and look in your owner's manual to figure out how to do bracketing for your camera. Be sure to take this on a tripod. After you get the exposures taken, you can take them into Lightroom, the Photoshop Lightroom, and then you want to select your regular exposure, overexposure, or underexposure, and your overexposure. Select the 3 of them, and then you want to right click or control click on a Mac, go up to Edit In, scroll down to Merge to HDR in Photoshop. You click that, and then Photoshop is going to open it and begin to process the 3 different images. So that's what it's doing right now. Now the importance of taking all 3 images with an actual tripod is very, very important, because if you have any shake or wiggle, or if it's off slightly, it actually makes the image not work as well. Photoshop does have a fix for that though, up here on the very top. Now this is the box Merge to HDR Pro, this dialog box. Right here in the corner, you've got Remove Ghosts. So if you did accidentally move your camera for one of the 3 exposures and you can't go back and get that same exposure again, check the Remove Ghost button. What Photoshop does when you check that button, it actually maps all 3 images and tries to figure out which image of the 3 would be the best one to make the map of. After that is completed, then there's going to be a green box around one of the 3, and that is the one that Photoshop thinks would be the best to have all the mapping on. Where I actually took this with a tripod, I don't need to worry about removing any of the ghosts. If you come into this and you just have one option box, be sure that your mode is set to 16-bit mode, and then you have all of these options down here. So you can adjust edge glow, your tone and detail, and then your shadows, highlights, vibrance, and saturation. There are also some really neat presets that if you look in the accompanying PDF file that is in my blog post, you'll be able to see what all these different ones look like. Like if you want the image to look really flat, you click that, and everything kind of flattens up. If you want it to look really realistic, then you click that, and it looks a lot more realistic. Now if you get that up and think, I want to have a little more vibrance to it or a little more highlights, you can come over here to these sliders and adjust it up or down, whatever way you feel works the best. Or if you want to have all the highlights gone so that the sky really pops and is dark, you can turn that all the way down, pull it open, just play around with it. You also have a curve that you can play with and adjust it just like you have in Photoshop for adjusting the colors. One that I really like is the Scott 5. The reason I like it so much is it really brings out all the details up here in the rocks, makes the image look, it's really a high contrast, but I think in the end it's really neat because you've got all the interesting things in the photo to look at. I kind of like turning down the detail a little bit. It's just almost a little too much detail for me. Get that turned down. After you're finished making all of your adjustments to the photo, you click OK. It merges everything together, and then it opens it up into Photoshop. Once you have it into Photoshop, you can actually make all the adjustments that you want to make it a beautiful image and to make it more like the eye sees. So next time you're out, you have a tripod in your camera and you want to take a picture of a sunset, just remember to take a picture, 3 different exposures, underexposed, overexposed, and regularly exposed, and then you can take it in, merge it, and make it more of what the eye sees.